First and foremost, before we get started, I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekah Kwadash, and double honors to those great millstone while unto his truth, and also to those elect that are scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom. Come back here today with another great and powerful lesson through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And the type of day lesson is Pentagon says National Guard will soon be armed. So I like to say shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope to help you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start today's lesson, I'll start here first with this news article here by ABC News. And it reads that National Guard in D.C. to carry M17 pistols, conduct law enforcement duties, task force says. So this report came out, I think, just yesterday, August the 22nd. So, things are constantly picking up. Let's get this here. It said National Guard troops deployed on the streets of Washington, D.C. so will now carry weapons for personal protection and are allowed to carry out law enforcement duties, said defense officials announced Friday. The decision in an escalation in President Donald Trump's use of military troops to address what he insists is out of control crime in the nation capital. Since his announcement, Trump has mobilized nearly 2,300 National Guard troops from Washington, D.C. and 6 states with Republican governors, said, but troops had remained unarmed until now. ABC News first reported Friday that the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth had officially authorized the troops to carry weapons if their mission required it. Said on Friday, the Joint Task Force overseeing the troops confirmed the move, said noting that the Guard's personnel set on missions would carry M17 pistols, said which are intended for personal protection. Said the task force said Guards members would receive proper training on how to use the weapon before being allowed to carry them. This decision is not something taken lightly, said Army Brig General Leland D. Blackheart. The third said the commanding general of D.C. National Guards in a statement. So we know that this was a part of the plan all the time. So when they first came with the National Guard, they said they were going to be unarmed, and all of a sudden now, the defense secretary said that now they can carry a weapon for protection. But we already know where this is leading. They're slowly setting the stage, for this police state, and also to lock down everything, also martial law. So we already know that right now these things are getting ready to get critical, So we knowing that Washington, D.C. is a test run. So I know I did lesson on this before, but this is, where the spirit is constantly having the prophets to go. So we seeing right now that this is the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble, and not about who will be the most in trouble, which in fact are the Negroes, the Latinos, the Native Indian, the people of color. So we seeing right now the devil is getting ready to come down with great wrath. So now let's go to this next one. I have another one here, and it shows you about these that Trump is getting ready to deploy more these National Guards in 19 more states. And I have a list of them. We'll go through this one here. This one here is by Newsbreak. So, the Lord has set up watchmen to warn you of these impending dangers. So these things are happening right before our eyes. A lot of people, are getting ready for football. The football scene. This bread and circus show, constantly being distracted. And one thing about it, is that all hell is getting ready to break loose. And we seeing right now these prophecies are speaking loud and clear. It's time to lock in. It's time to seek the Lord while he can be found. So now let's start this one here in the news break. It says here, this one article here comes out of the news break. It says here, Trump set to deploy National Guard to to 19 states, including Texas. And this report just came out 2 hours ago. It says this: after the incredible crime crackdown in our national capital, said President Trump now plans to mobilize up to 1,700 additional National Guardsmen in 19 states in the coming weeks. Said New York and Chicago are at the top of the list. Said Pentagon official confirmed to Fox News that this is to assist the Department of Homeland Security with Trump's nationwide crackdown on illegal immigration and crime. It said President Trump has spoken about expanding the operation to other states, telling a group of federal agents and National Guard troops at a D.C. patrol center earlier this week. Said we're going to make it safe, and we're going to then go on to other places. So right here, to make America great again. But one thing about it, that, their inward thoughts is that they shall rule forever. So they're constantly setting up this system, this beast system, setting up this the NWO. So we seen it happening right before our eyes. What if some don't believe? We really don't give a damn, because you getting ready to believe. Sin is believing. So these things are rolling out right before our eyes. So we already knowing that, any given day, that, it's going to be civil unrest, civil war. That's what we're very close to, this order out of chaos. It said documents obtained by Fox News show planning for activations in Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Louisiana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, Ohio, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Virginia, and Wyoming. Said with status affected from August through mid-November. Said Texas is projected to host the most significant guard present, because it's the largest state in the union. So we see it right here is give you a list of these other 19 states that they're getting ready to go into. So we know that this is just the beginning. This man is setting up shop. He's putting the military into place, because he already, the plan is that, to get a control over things before things get out of control. But we already know that things are going to get out of control. It's getting ready to be a time of trouble that we've never seen before. So they are setting the stage, which in fact, the Lord is setting the stage. Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai. And one thing about it, we already know that the Lord is getting ready to put an end to this nightmare. The Lord is getting ready to put an end to this wicked queendom. Babylon the Great, a.k.a. America. The Lord is finished. This place is finished. The Lord is getting ready to destroy this place. We cannot wait. So now, let's start back up here. Say a U.S. defense official told Fox, we won't speculate on further operations, but can tell you that the department is planning organizations and continues to work and plan with other agency partners to protect federal assets and personnel. So it constantly lying left and right, telling you certain things. But so right here, we seeing that this man is talking about deploying the National Guard to 19 other states. But and one thing about it said that he would even deploy the regular military, like the Marines. So we already know that it has started in L.A. Now it has started in Washington, D.C. Now there's already rumors that they're getting ready to go to Chicago, New York, Atlanta. So we already knowing that when it goes into these cities, things gonna get popping. Who shall rise him up? Jake is getting ready to get it popping. So we already know that we coming upon these race wars. We look at the movie The Purge. Look at the movie Civil War. Leave the World Behind. Many others. The Plick. Uprising in America. Also, that Red Dawn. We goes over these things left and right, because these are the times that we're living in. Look at this here, man. This man is getting ready to use his sword. So that cruel Lord, he's getting ready to make it popping. So right now, the devil's getting ready to try to fill his banner, his enterprise, his agenda, his plan, which in fact is total control. That's what we constantly warn you about. We know that grain of rice is near. We were very close. We're constantly warning you left and right. A lot of people are getting ready to find out, to F around and find out. So now, let's get this quick precept before we start today's video. Let's go here. It says here, Psalm chapter 17 and verse 13, it said, arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down. It said, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. And not about who is the Lord's sword, that which in fact is what Esau Edom, the so-called white man, the modern day white man, not white, red. You know what I'm saying? Genesis 25, verse 25. You know what I'm saying? When you go to Genesis 27, to tell you by his blessing, he shall live by his sword, going everywhere, constantly causing all sorts of death and destruction everywhere that he go. The man loved blood, and since thou hast not hated blood, blood shall pursue thee. So this is the Lord's sword. So the Lord's getting ready to use his sword in a big way. And also we know that this man is constantly building up military presence across America. Why this man is doing this? Because we already know that he's getting ready to come down with great wrath on the so-called people of color. If we constantly warn you left and right, we're witnessing the end right before our eyes. Let's read it again in NLT. It says, Psalm chapter 17 and verse 13 says, arise, O Lord, stand against them and bring them to their knees. Rescue me from the wicked, which is your sword. So this man is getting ready to use that sword in a big way. His military, his technology, his pseudoscience, his AI, this transhumanism, all these things are getting ready to come into play. If the Lord is not on your side, you're going to be unalive. So now let's start today's video. And after the video, we'll start the lesson. And I hope that you will get edified.
So I'm going to go ahead and say that this is an emergency. Yesterday, August 21st, Washington, D.C., Aaron Parnas had even said, they're no longer going to indict or prosecute civilians that carry rifles and shotguns in D.C. Now, they made that announcement August 21st. Today, dumbass Heggie said the National Guard will now be armed. This is no longer a question of what came first, the chicken or the egg. This was set up. I want you to look at the logistics of DC. I want you to look at this, everything. This was set up. I am calling it today. You are waiting for the shots to be fired. You are setting the stage so Trump can say, I was right. You and your administration, Todd Lyons, Steve Miller, Donald J. Trump, all of them, they're all a bunch of cowardice cucks and traitors. You will get innocent people killed. All in an attempt for greed, power, racism. And for what? What else? To what extent? This will only end one way. And you are trying to make sure of that. We knew where this was going. We have been calling it for a very long time. Donald Trump, shame on you. Stay free.
Louisiana, Tennessee, Ohio, South Carolina, and then potentially, next slide, the JIC, so the tickling incidents, no service members have been injured, it's just been equipment. I'm meeting with pretty much every level of the operations as it stands right now.
What's the weapon status?
Right now, we don't have any weapons. We don't have any weapons right now.
Right.
So we want to make sure we get them the proper lodging and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And now we got our 4 and our folks working hard to do places, pre-identified at all the different locations as well.
What do we start with orders-wise? 7 days, 30 days? What do we?
45
days.
45.
Okay. So it goes to the FY.
It does.
Yes.
It does.
Those authorities, depending on what authority you got, it goes over here and it says how many you can actually bring on board under that authority and how many days you can keep on it. So all that's in there, and we'll just follow the law, and that's what. And hey, there's nobody I'm more comfortable with doing things like this than the DC National Guard. I mean, we are very rehearsed in the DC National Guard. You get to do these kind of things. Maybe not what we're here for right now. Maybe this one's a little different. But as far as military operations go, I mean, thanks.
We have major news right now. We're about to see a major uptick in National Guard presence in 19 states across the country. More than 1,700 members of the National Guard are set to deploy mid-August through mid-November for a 3-month period. Here's what we know right now. The 19 states obtained by Fox News include Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Louisiana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, Ohio, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Virginia, Wyoming. And Texas is projected to have the largest National Guard presence in the state. Now remember, this does not include what Donald Trump expects to do in Chicago and in New York, which may include the National Guard as well. So this is separate and apart. This is for immigration enforcement and for crime-related issues in those states. Many of those states are red and Republican states. We now have more than 2,000 members of the military in Washington, D.C., about to have 1,700 more deployed in 19 states across the country. And get ready, Chicago and New York, because you're next. So spread the word so more people know. Follow along for all the news you need to know about. More to come very soon.
So now we're seeing that we're getting very close and closer to this man's putting his plan into place, putting this system into place. So we're very close. They're saying for about 3 months, but DJ Donald Trump saying that he wanted to last indefinitely. So right now we're slowly seeing the takeover of America. And also now the test run is over. Now this man is getting ready to come down with great wrath. So we'll start here. So we know in the mindset of these wicked devils. Let's go to start here first with Psalm chapter 49 and verse 11 said, their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling place to all generation. They call their lands after their own name. So one thing about it, we already know the mindset of this wicked red devil, that he thinking that he is going to rule forever. He thinking that he's going to stay in rulership forever. But one thing about it, we know that we're at the end of this man's rulership. We're in a transition of power, and also at the end of an earth age, at the end of a eon. We get ready to go into a new age that dwells in righteousness. So we already know America was named after Amerigo Vespucci, which in fact he was Italian explorer, which in fact he was a Edomite. So the Bible is spot on. So right now this man is thinking that he thinking that he's gonna constantly stay in power. This man is getting ready to go into slavery, and after slavery he would be totally eradicated. That's the end of his story. So right now the Lord is calling these things to happen. The Lord is visiting the earth that he created. So this is the mindset of Esau Edom, the modern day so-called white man. His inward thought that he will rule forever. So we seeing that DJ Donald Trump, this man is talking in great pride. He's constantly, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. Right now, we seeing right now, he's setting the stage, for order out of chaos, total control. That's what they're looking for, this setting the stage for really a bloodbath, a lawless time. A lot of people are getting ready to buck up. So we already know when they go into Chicago, New York, and Atlanta, it's going to be a lot of violence. It's going to be everywhere. Everything. Man, we get ready to see some things, Let's go here to Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12. Let's get this right quick, because that's exactly what this red devil is getting ready to do. Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12, he said, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, said, because he knowing that he has but a short time. So right now, this man knowing exactly that his time is very short, he's seeing that these UFO, UAP, what they even call UFO, UAP, which in fact, we know that they are the chariots of the Most High, the eyes of the Most High. They're in every place. So they seeing all this going on in with those powerful telescopes that they have. They're trying to keep a hush on it, but they cannot contain it anymore, because you can't do nothing against the truth but for the truth. So things are coming out left and right. The Lord is removing the covering cast. So right now a lot of things are happening, and he's seeing that, hey man, we're getting very close. The dark Lord Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua is getting ready to return to set everything back in order. So they constantly seeing these massive spacecrafts getting closer and closer to her. But see, hey, we are very close. Our salvation is at the door, and this red devil is getting scary. So his inward thought, he think he's going to be able to rule. He's thinking he's going to be able to take down Yahweh Shah Mashiach, but he's in for a rude awakening. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're seeing right there. He's getting ready to come down with great wrath. So let's drop down to Revelation chapter 12 and verse. I start here at verse 17. Let's get this one. It said, and the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, said, which keepeth the commandments of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, and have the testimony of Yahweh Shah Hamashiach. This is talking about the elect. And that woman represents what? Israel. And one thing about that dragon represent, Esau, and also it represents, the Roman Empire, the revived Roman Empire. You already know that this red devil is getting ready to come down with great wrath. We already know. And also I think that goes into King, what's his name? I can't think of his name, but this right here is twofold scripture. But one thing about it that we see it right now, that this devil is getting ready to come down with the remnant of her seed, which in fact is the elect. So we already know that Jacob's trouble is fast approaching. And one thing about it, we knowing that we are very close. War is right upon us. We are here. Let's go to this one here in Daniel's. Let's go to Daniel's chapter. Daniel's chapter 8. Let's get this one right quick. Daniel's chapter 8 and verse 25, if I'm not mistaken. Daniel chapter 8 verse 25. By his policy, he shall destroy many. Let's get this one right quick. One moment. I think this is it right here. Verse 25. It says here, Daniel chapter 8 and verse 25 says, and through his policies also he shall cause crafts to prosper. He said, in his hand, and he shall magnify himself. We're seeing that right now. He said, in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many, and he shall also stand up against the prince or princesses. Said, but he shall be broken without hands. So exactly what we seeing right now. This man, is the master of deception, And one thing about it, he's getting ready, destroy many with these things that he's putting into place. This Project 25, these executive orders, these unrighteous decrees, his policy, his democracy, his his a way of doing things, so we already knowing that he's coming with this new system, this reset, this NWO. It says here in verse Daniel chapter 8 and verse 25 in the NLT say he will be a master of deception and will become arrogant. That we seeing it right now. So he will destroy many without warning. So he will even take on the princes in battle, but he will be broken through, broken through, not by human power. That's right. The Lord is getting ready to return and destroy this red devil. So that's where we at right now. This man is going to destroy many by this things that he are putting into place. And also we know that the new money is going to be that grain of rice. It's getting ready to go under your skin. And also we know that Bill Gates already said that these digital tattoos and these wearables are going to replace the smartphone, because you're going to be the smartphone. So one thing about it, we're not even of Satan device. We know it right now. They're setting the stage for this right here, Jacob's trouble. It's even the time of Jacob's trouble. But who shall be saved out of? The elect, the true believers of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 30, and we'll get one more and we'll close out. Let's see here, Jeremiah chapter 30, and we go straight to the point and to verse 7. Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. It says here, it says, at last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And out about we already know Jacob is the progenitor of the 12 tribes of Israel. We know his name was later changed to Israel, and one thing about it, and who shall be saved out? The elect, the true believers of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. We know that it's a 1/3 and also it's a 2/3. The 2/3 are going to be cut off and die on this side. And one thing about it, the only thing will be left is that remnant that will be saved out of it. Jacob's trouble, the time of trouble that we've never seen before. So that's what they're setting the stage for. Civil unrest, civil war, sedition, insurrection, all sorts of chaos, murder, destruction, a lawless time. Let's go here Because this is exactly what they're doing right here in Isaiah chapter 59. We're seeing that they're setting the stage for this this flood, a military flood, going through all these different states. So right now, this man is, he's getting ready to show those horns very soon. We constantly warn you, that's what we've been constantly warning you about, the prophets. We're warning you about this evil time, and it's right upon us. Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 9, Isaiah chapter 59 and verse 19 said, so shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. So when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. So right here, that flood, we talking about this military flood, his technology, this man gonna come with everything, AI, robotics, these drones, a lot of things that get ready to happen. And the Lord is going to have to lift up the standard, in a way for us to escape. So supernatural intervention is getting ready to come into play for who? For that 1/3 remnant, the true believers of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, which in fact is the elect. So the Lord is going to protect his elect. You know what I'm saying? So things are getting ready to happen. We get ready to see the Lord finna show forth his great glory, his great power. We living in some very exciting time. And we knowing that right now, we witnessing the end of this nightmare. We are so very excited. How long, oh Lord? So the Lord's getting ready to lift up that standard. The Lord is getting ready to protect his elect. So when the enemy come in like a flood, which in fact is Esau, Edom, and these other nations, and also these 2/3, the Lord is going to lift up that standard. And then they shall know, who are his chosen, who he's dealing with. So we're very close, man. We are so very excited. So now, let's go with our last and final script. Let's get this one more. 1 Peter chapter 4, because we're at the end of all things, the end of this age. That's what we're constantly witnessing right before our eyes, man. We're so very close. 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 7. We'll close out right here. And it says, but the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer. So we're at the end of a age? We're at the end of our earth age. We're at the end of this man rulership. We're in that transition of power. We're seeing it happening right before our eyes. The vibration is changing. The tables are turning. The Lord is setting things back into order. And also the world is upside down. The Lord's getting ready to put it right back side up. And one thing about it, we're seeing that right now that we are so very close. We're seeing that these prophecies are speaking loud and clear. We're seeing right now that the men of the Lord are constantly making these video pistols in the highways and byways, constantly sounding the alarm, to return to your true power while you still have time. The door of repentance is closing. The Lord is getting ready to return and set everything back into order. That's what we're constantly warning you about. It's time to repent. Judgment is now at hand. Judgment is right upon us. Great death, great mourning, the beginning of sorrows. So we're here, man. World War III, the MOTB, Jacob's trouble. These things are here. At the end it shall speak and not lie. It's not tearing anymore. We're here. So the title of the daily lesson, once again, is Pentagon says National Guards will soon be armed. So I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahushua, Ba'ashim, Rekah Kwadash. I like to say, Shalom, Shalom.